Hey guys, Abby with Motor City Nerds here. We're going to do the top 5 castles in Game of Thrones, in my opinion. And I'm going to go into some of the strategic reasons, some of the whatever reasons, and maybe I just like them because they sound cool. But remember to subscribe, comment, share, check out all my other videos. Everybody always hates when I cover Marvel. I don't understand. Oh, remember, to get this metallic Caraxes Funko Pop, all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment on any video, and the comments are officially working, everybody. Number 5, I think I'm going to put the Eerie. Solely based on strategic reasons. I think the Eerie's a very pretty castle. The Eerie's the one where, when we call him the titty baby, the one who's way too old to be a titty baby. It's the one that's up in the mountains. There's only one way to get in, through the Bloody Gate. The Visenya and her dragon landed there, and we're like, yeah, you better bend the knee. I like the Eerie, but like I was saying on Facebook, I think people are going to be surprised at what my favorite castles are for sure. We'll give the number 4 slot to Winterfell. Now, like I said, there's little things about each of these castles that I really like. And Winterfell, if you didn't know, some people think a dragon is beneath it. I personally think the dragon beneath it is Rhaegar and or his harp, but that's a whole other video for a whole other time. But the way Winterfell stays heated in the winter is it's built on hot springs that run through the walls, and that's another really interesting thing. And I know I joke about George R. R. Martin over here, and people like to cry and get angry in the comments, and it's like, chill, man. I think we all love this world. One of the very cool things George R. R. Martin does with his world in Westeros is there's technology more so than in other fantasy things. They have the hot springs running through the walls, but it's like, where did the hot springs come from? So a lot of people think it's an actual dragon underneath, or an ice dragon underneath Winterfell. I like the design of Winterfell in the show a lot, and it's big. The north is cool. But I'm also from somewhere where it snows, so I appreciate that. It's got cool quirks about it, and that's what I mean. There's something underneath it, because it's weird that it's like pristinely kept together all the way through the crypt, like thousands of years, and then all of a sudden this one hallway's all busted up, and I'm like, there's something they don't want us to know about. Maybe it is dragons, maybe it's dragon eggs, but those hot springs are randomly placed in the north. Oh, plus the Godswood is cool. The Godswood is just a cool place, in general. I like that. Oh God. Well, I guess this is kind of an obvious one. Number 3 is going to have to go to the Red Keep. The Red Keep. And I've talked about him quite often. It was built by Maegor the Cruel. I'm very aware that Maegor the Cruel was not a good guy. But you don't always have to like characters that are only good. That's so boring. Look at Daemon on TV right now. We love him, right? He's not just solely good. People that are solely good or solely evil are boring. But Maegor's pretty just evil. But he did some really big things. Like, he built the Red Keep, but then he killed everybody who worked on it. And he was like, yeah, come have this party. And he poisoned them all so that nobody would... That's why they say nobody to this day in Westeros knows all of the secrets of the Red Keep. Only Maegor. And he's gone. So there's so many tunnels and so many secret passageways in King's Landing and in the Red Keep. It's kind of a cheap out, because then there's like always a way to write it in, kind of. But also very smart by George R. R. Martin. But either way, it's a very cool idea and a very cool concept, and there's lots of cool things. Dragon Skulls is pretty sick, right? I think we should do an honorable mention before we do the last two, and Driftmark, just because that's the Corlys Valarion's castle. Valarion, that's his castle, but it has silver turrets. Like, that's sick. To have, like, pure silver turrets, just, like, giving everybody the middle finger going by, like, look how rich I am. That's sick. Plus, he built it all himself. He really did. When he said that line in the show, I was like, nice, because that's true. He really did, like, truly built it. He, like, married Rhaenys, and then was like, oh, we're going to do a do-it-yourself project. Let's work on the house. They're my favorite couple in the entire history of Westeros. But like I said, this might surprise some people, but number 2 is Riverrun. Riverrun has one of the coolest defense systems, maybe the coolest of all the castles, and I don't know why they didn't utilize it. Now, book readers will know the scene where Jaime Lannister comes and shows up and is like, the siege is all jacked up. Ned's wife, Catelyn Stark, when her original home is Riverrun, the Tullys. Remember when her uncle is like, I don't care, we have 2 years to last the siege, what do you got, Kingslayer? And he's like, come on, man, don't embarrass me out here. And he's like, I'm just bored, so I came to size you up. Jaime straight up lied. When the Blackfish, her uncle, is such a badass. He's one of my favorite, like, secondary characters. He's one of my favorite characters in the whole series. He's such a badass and such a good fighter that he was like Jaime's idol. This would be like if somebody my age who played basketball got to meet Michael Jordan back in the 90s or Isaiah Thomas or something like that level. He straight up lied to his dad. He lied to Tywin when he was a kid that he wanted to possibly marry one of the Tully sisters, so he wanted to go to Riverrun to meet them. He really didn't want to do that. He wanted to meet the Blackfish. So I wish they would have made just like one line of dialogue in the show that this is like Jaime's idol. And when he goes up to the castle, and like I said, as book readers, if you're watching the show, and he's like, sieges are dull, and I wanted to get the measure of you. And Jaime's like, well, what is it? And he's like, pfft. And he's essentially calling Jaime pathetic. Like, that hurts Jaime's soul, because that's like his idol. That's just a fun fact for you guys. But the thing that Riverrun can do, and I thought they might do it in the show, the thing that Riverrun can do is lift up the dams, and everywhere around it floods, and you're an island. So when they showed the siege in the show, I was like, oh, they're tricking them. They want them to get as close to the castle and thinking they're going to get in as possible, and then they're gonna break the dam down, or the levees, and all the water's going to come in and flood it. And I think that's just a really cool design, a really cool defense mechanism, and I can't think of any other castle that does that. Oh, I want to give this one a shout out too, because it's the coolest name. Coolest name, and coolest name for the Lord, I feel like. I think this is one of the coolest names, but then again, I don't like Ramsay Bolton, but I do like Roose Bolton. A quiet rule, a quiet people. When he whispers, everybody listens. The Leech Lord, Roose Bolton. I like him. I don't care what anybody says. I am a Roose Bolton fan, and I think that the Dreadfort, Lord of the Dreadfort, I skin my enemies and it's hanging on the walls to let you know when you walk through the front door. That's just badass. That's sick. Like I said, is it nice? No. Is it awesome? Yes. The Lady of the Dreadfort? Come on. That's a sick name. Your colors are pink and navy out here with a cool-ass sigil. We'll get into sigils another day, because literally when Tyrion said in the show, the Karstarks, one of the better sigils, I literally have a binder of stuff I wanted to make videos about, and at the top of that list of favorite banners that aren't from main houses is the Karstarks. I love that sigil, so we'll do that in another video. But I just want to mention, as far as names go, the Dreadfort is the sickest name ever. Like, you don't even want to mess with that. But my favorite castle, my favorite house, Storm's End. Storm's End is awesome. It's just this big, huge, impenetrable, any storm can hit it, House Baratheon stronghold. It's not even like a castle when you look at it. And when I got to see Vhagar, my favorite dragon, next to my favorite castle on screen finally, I was like, I can die happy now. Like, I got to see it on screen. I'm so happy right now. And then it got sad, but then I was also like, don't mess with Vhagar, man. Like, she don't take no shit. But Vhagar's the best. So I would say my personal top 5 are the Eerie with the Bloodgate, where Arya starts laughing, just defensively pretty cool. It's like the one that it's the most like fantastical and whimsical of the castles, in my opinion. Then we have Winterfell, because I just think it's a really cool design with really cool little tricks to it, and there's a lot of mystery underneath Winterfell. Number 3, we have the Red Keep, because Maegor the Cruel built it. The Iron Throne. I mean, what's not cool about the Red Keep? I mean, come on now. Maegor's Holdfast. Number 2, we have Riverrun, and like I said, I don't think a lot of people would have guessed that, but it's one of the coolest things that a castle can do in the entire series. And it's big, and it's scary, and that means like all the water's coming in and flooding you out, and it's like, come get us, assholes. So I really thought, and I really wish they would have utilized that in the show. But yeah, number 1 is Storm's End, House Baratheon. Ours is the Fury. Let's go. We overthrow empires, but then secretly, you can watch my other video, Robert Baratheon is the most... I feel like the irony of Robert is not only that he didn't want to rule, and if you want to know, I have it all in that video, but he's the most Targaryen of all the Targaryens, and that's like even funnier that he always wants to off them, because he act awful Targaryen. Him and Daenerys are second cousins. They're family. That's why Robert takes the throne, because he literally has royal blood. Stannis, Renly, they literally have royal blood. And the first Baratheon was the hand of Aegon the Conqueror, the first Targaryen that came over, well, him and his sisters, Rhaenys and Visenya. Oris Baratheon, the first one, he was a bastard Targaryen. So he's always had Targaryen blood in him. And I always think that's the irony of Robert, and everybody will always go, oh, he's right. And I'm like, yeah, no, he is right, because he gets Targaryen premonitions. And like I said, if you want to hear me talk more about that, you can go to that video. But yeah, those would be my top 5. But when it comes to names, nothing beats the Dreadfort. That's so cool. And then people think I'm crazy for liking Roose Bolton. And I'm like, man, no, Roose is fully aware of what Ramsay is. He's just like, in the books, he's like, you offed all my other kids. What am I supposed to do? I'm kind of stuck with you. Does he do some jacked up stuff and say some jacked up stuff? Yeah, he does. But other than that, Roose Bolton's just like, I want a quiet rule, a quiet people. It's all good. Everyone just follow the rules and chill out. And then he's kind of a psychopath. Don't really do nothing that heinous in the books, especially, or in the show. Roose, the dad, he really don't do anything that heinous besides allowing his bastard son to do the stuff he's doing. But Storm's End, man, like I said, I wouldn't even really consider that a castle, more than just a stronghold. And it's like that because it's up to the water, and they have to deal with literal storms all the time smashing into it. Now, House Baratheon didn't build Storm's End. They married the daughter of another house. Oris Baratheon did, and she took his name, but they kept that castle, so the Baratheons didn't build that. That's a little fun fact, but it's just like a giant, sturdy tower, and I love it. Vhagar's my favorite dragon, Storm's End is my favorite castle, and to see them next to each other on the screen, I went nutso. It was great, but I'm happy with Motor City Nerds, and I'm just doing this for fun, because I feel like I've gotten away from making Game of Thrones stuff, so I've gotten better at making these, so I think I'm going to do it in parts this time, because I do have a video up about fixing the end of Game of Thrones, but I was new and it's not good. So I think I might do it in parts. So I'm going to record right now part 1, and there's going to be 3 parts. There are 3 things, if they would have changed in Game of Thrones, that I'm not saying it would have been perfect, but it would have been more digestible to the audience. And remember to enter to win this awesome Caraxes Metallic Funko Pop. All you gotta do is subscribe and leave a comment, leave a penguin down in the comments, and yeah, I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. I'm on OnlyF, I'm on TikTok, I'm on all the stuff, it's down below. I have an Ant-Man review up. Nobody ever likes my Marvel stuff. I mean, they do, and I appreciate it, but my Marvel stuff never does well. I don't know what it is, like, but I love it, and Mom loves it, and we love talking about it, and so, whatever, who cares? Oh, and Mayfair Witches, I'm doing that review tonight. I think that show gets better and better with each episode. And if you're not watching Interview with the Vampire and the Mayfair Witches, get into the Anne Riceverse while you can in the beginning, because it's good.